In this video, you'll learn to create these professional slides in PowerPoint that you might encounter while working in business fields like consulting, finance, or marketing. So let's get into it. Suppose we're working a Coca-Cola strategy team and we're preparing a presentation to send to the management team regarding our revenue figures. For this, we'll create 3 slides. Firstly, we'll take a macro view where we look at all the different countries. Then we'll focus on the US specifically, as that's the best-selling country for Coca-Cola. And lastly, we'll look at specific brands that are performing well within the US. Hopping onto PowerPoint, and this is the document that we'll be working with. As you can see, we have some blank slides where we'll input all of our data, obviously. And just below that, we have some slides called supporting text and graphics. This is basically so you don't have to go through the internet and try to find a flag of the US, for instance. For this, you can download it down in the description below if you want to follow along. So first things first, we can see that the formatting here isn't too great while there's nothing there. So it'd be nice to customize it a bit. Maybe have the logo of Coca-Cola over here and a few different borders just to change the look here. For this, first we'll copy the Coca-Cola logo, press Ctrl C, and we're gonna format it over on the View tab under Slide Master. Now the shortcut for this would be to go to Alt W and then M. Now here we're in the Slide Master view. Let's go to a very top slide, and if I press Ctrl V, you'll notice that all of the slides are now gonna have the Coca-Cola logo, which is what we want. Let's make it a bit smaller, so press the Shift and then the down arrow. That's gonna make it a bit smaller for us, and we're just gonna drag it over here, and there we go. Another thing that would be nice to add is a few different lines that are essentially gonna be separators. So something like a top border and then a border over here at the bottom. For this, we're just gonna go to Insert, Shapes, and we'll select one of these, which is just a straight line. Then let's go over from the side and then just click it. And if you want it to be straight, you can just press the Shift key. It's gonna make it straight for us. And let's take it all the way to the other side. Let's increase the width here, so the thickness of it. Let's say we go for 2 1/4. And let's also change the color to something like a dark blue, like so. Nice. Then if we wanna duplicate that for the bottom side, what you can do is just press the Ctrl Shift and then just drag it down. This way it's gonna be aligned in the exact same way. And just drag it all the way down over here. That's looking good. Now to exit this Slide Master view, all you have to do is press the Alt W L. And from here, we're back to a normal view. And as you can see, now we have this formatted the way that we wanted it. In this slide, let's say we want to showcase how the US is the biggest market for Coca-Cola. So for this, let's insert a subtitle that's going to be more or less over here. And we're going to create a visual just below that. So we'll go under Insert, Shapes again, and we're going to create the line. Press the Shift key there so it stays straight, and we're gonna move it all the way more or less till here, say. And shape outline, we want it in dark blue, and we also want it to be at a weight of say 1.5 more or less. So we'll select that one. Then for it, we're gonna need a text box just above it. So we'll select this one over here, press Ctrl Shift, and then drag it down. We're gonna need to make this one smaller, so press the Ctrl A key, and then Ctrl Shift, and then we're gonna do the smaller than sign. Then we can reformat this one a bit, so press the Escape key, and then Shift and down arrow a bit, just so we make it a bit narrower. And we're gonna take it all the way up over here like so. For the title, we're gonna change this to something like Top 6 Countries by Revenue in millions, in dollar millions, say. Then let's make this text box over here a bit smaller. And we're also gonna center this by pressing Ctrl E. If we like how these two are looking, we'll go ahead and drag them. So select them both, press Ctrl G. That's basically gonna group them for us. Now we're gonna press Ctrl Shift and drag them across all the way like that to the side here. And this part over here, let's say we name it something like Key Highlights. For the chart data that we're gonna use right below, we're gonna have to go under the supporting text and graphics here. And this is the data that we're gonna need in this table. So press Ctrl A, Ctrl C to copy that. And we're just gonna go up over here, and let's say we go to Insert. We're gonna insert a chart. That's gonna be a bar chart for us. So go under bar, and we'll select this first one, hit OK there. And then an Excel file should pop up over here, as you can see up top. In this Excel file, you'll see that PowerPoint already goes ahead and fills in a few dummy data, say. So let's go ahead and make this a bit bigger, and we're basically gonna wanna change these. So on that very first category, click inside that, and we're just gonna press Ctrl V to paste all of our data. Then for all these other ones, we can just go ahead and press delete because we don't really need them. And we're just gonna drag this over kind of like so. Now, if we go back to PowerPoint, you can see what it's currently looking like. Go ahead and close this Excel part. Now we've got all of the data that we're gonna need. Let's delete the series name over here. We'll also delete this axis down over here, and we want to flip this such that the US is the highest one up here, because it makes more sense because it's the one that has the most revenue. So for this, we're gonna go to the axis. So click over here, right click, format axis. And over here, what we're gonna wanna do is go to categories in reverse order, tick on that. And now we have them the way we want it. Let's go ahead and reformat this a bit. Delete the title because we already have one. We'll delete these grid lines as well. For the width here, let's make this a bit thicker. So we'll go down over here, and then here's the gap width. Let's say we put something like 80, hit enter there. That's looking slightly better. Let's drag this across a bit. We'll also add some data labels. So right click, we're gonna go data labels, and we want these to be on the inside. So we'll go over here, and then we're gonna want inside end. Change the colors of it. So we'll select, say, a white color. And we want to emphasize this very last one. So for all of these, we're gonna first select something like a light blue color. So go under here, fill, and let's go for a light blue fill. Say this third one over here, and then this very top one. So just click on that again, and it should be selected just as the only one. Let's go for a dark blue, just so the US is a bit more emphasized. Then we need to work on the different flags. For these, we can just select them from down here. So just drag it across, press Ctrl C, and we'll put them up over here, press Ctrl V there. So first one's gonna be the US, and let me go ahead and fast forward how I align these. So now that I've got them in order, we can go ahead and delete these titles. So press the delete key there, but you can see that they're not very well aligned as of now. First, let's go ahead and drag this over here to make it a bit smaller. So let's first select all of them, and we're just gonna use some of PowerPoint's features. So go under picture format, under align. First, we're gonna align them left. Now you can see they're all aligned left. And we're also gonna go to distribute vertically. Let's select that, and then we're just gonna drag them in like so. For the other side of this slide, under key highlights, first we're gonna create a few bullets. So let's go ahead and do that. Go to the supporting text and graphics, and these are all the different bullets that we're gonna want. So press the escape key there and just select this whole text box. We're gonna paste it over here like so. For this, we'll press Ctrl A, that's gonna select it all. Go under bullets, click on that. Let's say we want these bullets to be square, and we also want them to be in dark blue color. Go under bullets and numbering for that. Under color, we're gonna select the dark blue, and we're also gonna select this one over here. That's gonna give us the square bullets. For the lower part of the slide, it'd be nice to have a few different quotes from journalists or from research reports. So for this, we're gonna insert a text box to separate it a bit. So go under insert, a shape we're gonna insert. So go shape, go to this rectangle shape, click it, and then just drag it across kind of like so. We're gonna change the fill color. Let's say we go for something like a gray, and we're also gonna remove the outline. So go to no outline. Once we like how it's looking, press the Ctrl Shift and then just drag it down over here like so. Great, and now all we need to do is add the images from below and just paste them in here and add the quotes down over here. So let me fast forward that. That's the end of the first slide. And overall, you might feel like maybe this is a bit too dense, it has too much information on it, but typically in a corporate setting, this is usually the case. To demonstrate that, here's an example of a McKinsey report, where as you can see, their slides are fairly dense, where a title is sometimes 2 to even 3 lines long. And if you're liking this video and want to learn more about PowerPoint, you can check out our new PowerPoint for Business and Finance course, where we teach everything we know about PowerPoint, specifically for people either looking to break into a business or a finance role, or those in it trying to level up their PowerPoint skills. Unlike most theoretical courses, we tried to make this one as practical as possible, based on our real experiences working at companies like Tesla and Amazon. So aside from the typical lessons on shortcuts, formatting, and charts, we have case studies that, much like this video, replicate the type of work you might be assigned in your day-to-day, ranging from a consulting style presentation on McDonald's as the business case study, to a stock pitch deck on Apple as the finance case study. So if you're interested in checking it out, go to the link in the description below. Alright, back to the video. Moving on to the second slide, and even though Coca-Cola is very dependent on the US, we want to emphasize that it's very well diversified within the United States, so across all 50 states. For this, let's go down all the way over here, and as the title, let's type something like Coca-Cola is diversified across all 50 states. And again, like the previous slide, we'll add 2 subtitles. So first, let's go ahead and delete this. and we're just gonna copy them from above. So we've got these two subtitles that we like. Let's click on them, then just press Ctrl C, and we're just gonna paste them down over here, Ctrl V. For this side, let's say we wanna put a map, so a heat map of sorts. So we'll add something like revenue heat map by state in 2021. And then right over here, we're gonna have the top performing states. So we'll go ahead and type top performing states. Nice. The data that we're gonna need for creating a heat map is gonna be right below it under the supporting text and graphics. So it's gonna be this whole data set over here. If you can't see it, just zoom out a bit and you can see that it's actually quite long because we've got all 50 states, right? Then let's go back in there and we're just gonna select it all. Basically just click inside it and then go Control A, Control C, that's gonna copy it for us. Let's go up here, we're gonna go under Insert, then we're gonna go Charts, and we're gonna want, in this case, a map chart. So it's gonna be right over here, filled map, hit OK there. So here's the map and here's the chart with the data that we're gonna want, but we're gonna have to actually change this data. So let's go ahead and open this up a bit. And up at the very top, so in 1A, we're gonna Control V, that's gonna paste everything for us. If we go over to look at the chart, you can see that things have updated, but you'll see that there's all these gray ones, which basically means that there's no information on them. So something here is probably wrong. So we'll go inside of the map, go to right click, go to select data. And now you can see that it's only going up until number 13. So we would like it to go a lot lower than that. So we'll go in here and we're just gonna drag this all the way till we reach the very bottom, which should be around row 50-ish, so 51, that's about where it's at. Over here, and then hit OK. Now let me fast forward how I reformat this, so basically put it over to the side. Great, now this chart clearly shows that all of the states have some sort of revenue, and the very last one has around 114 million, which is already quite a lot. You can go ahead and delete this legend if you don't really want it, that's kind of up to you. Then over here on the other side, we're gonna have a table. So showing the top performing states, as sometimes it might be a bit hard to see here, and we can actually see the actual figures this way. So we'll go ahead and click on it. This is a table that we'll want. Press Ctrl C there, and we'll just paste it up over here. Then let's just reformat it. So drag it kind of like so. And for the top part, let's say we want to change the coloring of it so it looks more like a top border, right? We're gonna go under the table design. It's gonna be for shading. This is essentially the equivalent of the fill for a table. We'll go for a dark blue, and we'll also change the color to a white. Press Ctrl B to bolden. One final thing we could do here is to remove all of the borders. So we'll go under the border drop down and let's say no border, just so it looks a bit cleaner there. Hopping on to the third and last slide, and here let's say we want to showcase actual Coca-Cola brands and how they've been growing from 2020 to 2021. So if you go all the way to the bottom here under supporting text and graphics, you can see that we don't actually have that much data. So we've got Fanta, Coca-Cola, and Sprite, and we have more or less 2 figures, so 6 figures in total, which really isn't too much. If we were to create something like a column chart of this, it would probably look quite empty. So instead, what we're gonna do is create some sort of bubble graphics. But before we get into that, let's work on the text first. So for the title, we're gonna have this top area, so Control A, Control C, and we're just gonna paste it up on top, Control V there, press the delete key like so. And then just below that, we're gonna have another text box with all of this area here. So press Ctrl C there, and we're just gonna paste it, Ctrl V. We'll delete this area, press the delete key there, and let's just drag it all the way back up, more or less around here. And we'll also drag it out. Then we're gonna want a shape that's gonna be right behind it. So for this, we can go to Insert, under Shapes, we'll select this rectangle, and we're just gonna drag it basically above the whole area there like so. We're gonna change the fill color to the lightest gray that we've got, and we're also gonna go with a white outline. But now you can see that we can't see the text, so we need to bring it to the back. For this, we're gonna go to right click, and we're just gonna go to send to back and send to back. Now you can see all of the text in there as well. For the bubble graphics, let's look into the data again first. So we'll go down over here, and we can see that Fanta's at 3 billion and it goes up to 4.5. So 1.5 times increase. For this, we're gonna go under Shapes, select this one over here, the oval, and then if you select it, you can see that it's kind of hard to make a perfect circle, so you gotta press the Shift key. That's gonna keep it consistent for us. So let's put it more or less around this height, and this is basically gonna represent 3 billion for us. So for the shape fill, let's go with something like a light blue, and then we're gonna want no outline. Nice. Then we just gotta duplicate this. So press the Control Shift and then drag it across like so. And then the second one, we're gonna have it at 150% size, right? So we'll go to right click, then we're gonna go under the format shape. Here at the very last part, this is where you'll be able to determine its size. And for the scale, it's currently at 100. We said that it went from 3 to 4.5. So we're gonna put it at 150%. First, we need to lock the aspect ratio. That's gonna make sure it stays even. Press 150 there. And now that's 1.5 times. We'll also change the shape fill here to the darker blue. Then we can start adding all of the different text boxes. First, let me close this area. And we're just gonna go to Insert. Then we're gonna insert a text box. First one over here is just gonna say 2020. Like so. Let me just stretch that out a bit more. And then the one right next to it is gonna say 2021. So let me press Control D to duplicate. We're gonna put this one down over here. It's gonna say 2021. Similar to that, we're gonna have the 3 billion up here, and then next to that is gonna be the 4.5. So let me duplicate this one as well. And we're just gonna drag it up over here. Change the fill color to a white. And then this is gonna be in dollar sign, say 4.5B for billion. Great. Press escape, and let me duplicate that as well. This one's gonna be the 3 billion, and we'll drag that over here. Let's bring this shape to the back. So go to right click and say send to back. And we also wanna add the Fanta logo. So we'll select it from here, Control C, and we're just gonna paste it over here. Press the shift and down arrow just to make it a bit smaller. That's it, so it stays consistent as well. Now we wanna showcase how big it's gotten. So it's gonna be 1.5 times in this case. So we'll select this area, press Control D. That's gonna duplicate it, and we're just gonna put it more or less in the middle. 1.5x, then we'll select it by pressing Control A and then Control Shift, greater than sign. Let's do that a few times. 36 seems fine for us. Control B to bolden that area, and we're just gonna reformat it more or less to the middle. One final thing we'll need for this area is just a title. So let's go ahead and select this 2020 text box, Control D, and we'll write something like Fanta revenue in the US, and we'll drag that out. Nice, and then we'll drag it all the way up over here. Once we like where it's at, we'll select all of this area here, press Control G, it's gonna group it for us, and then we can just drag it down like so. Basically for all the other ones, it's gonna be the same sequence, so I'm just gonna fast forward it. This is how it would look like for all three of these bubbles, and I've also boldened this top area as well. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me to cover any other features in PowerPoint. If you're looking to learn more about PowerPoint shortcuts, check out this video over here or this link over here to learn more about our course. That's all for this video. Hit that like and that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one.